Welcome back to the Literary Lori YouTube channel, Literarians. I'm Literary Lori, aka Lori L. Tharps. I'm a traditionally published author of both nonfiction and fiction, and I now live in the south of Spain, and that's what this video is all about. I am calling this episode 1 of the Delulu Diaries because I have done something that one might think that I am delusional for doing it. I signed up to take the C1 Spanish language exam. It's going to be at the end of May, and this is the exam that people who want to practice either medicine or law, high-level professions have to take in order to practice those high-level professions in Spain. Me? I'm neither a doctor nor lawyer, nor do I play one on TV. I want to take the exam because I want to be a good Spanish-speaking literary citizen in my new adopted country. Let me explain. All right, so here's what happened. I moved to Spain almost 5 years ago now, and when I moved here, it was for the sole purpose of being able to live a global, creative, literary life. I wanted to focus my career on writing fiction, which, though, if you don't know, novelists don't make a lot of money. I walked away from a well-paying job in academia that not only provided a decent salary, but it also would allow my children to attend university for free. So if I wanted to turn my life around and start working on being a novelist, quitting my academic job, I could not guarantee heck, my kids would not be able to go to college. I have 3 kids that I have to put through college, and that was the plan, was to send them to the university where I worked at. But in Spain, university tuition is so affordable. I knew that I could still afford to send my kids to college, even if I was pursuing a creative literary lifestyle. Also, healthcare, very affordable here in Spain, that is not reliant upon having a high-paying job. Okay, so that's why I moved here, to focus on a creative literary life, to focus on writing fiction. Well, turns out I can do that here. I can work on my fiction. I coach creative writing clients. I run a writing community, but all of that I do is in English. So I've been here for almost 5 years, and I can say that my Spanish language skills have completely plateaued. And let me back up for a second. I majored in Spanish in college. I double majored in Spanish. So I have a Spanish major. I studied in Spain for a year at the University of Salamanca, where I was actually enrolled in the university taking classes with Spanish students. So I was at a very high level reading, writing, speaking Spanish at that time of my life. I subsequently married a Spaniard. My in-laws do not speak English. So I have been exposed to and around Spanish for, the last 20 some years. Also, my husband does not speak to my children in English ever, never has. So there is a constant input of Spanish that I hear all the time. So my level of Spanish is fine, but it is not where it's not at the peak of where it once was. And that bothers me. So I came here again for my own creative writing purposes, but Spain is such a literary country. There are book festivals and bookstores in every single city and town that I've been to. There are creative writing schools and just activities that just celebrate the book in so many different ways that it bothers me that I can't be a good Spanish literary citizen because my language skills aren't at that point. Moreover, there's just so many good books that I want to read in Spanish. One of the ways to really ingratiate yourself and understand a culture in the country that you're living in is obviously to read the literature of the country. And I can't expect it to be translated in English, not to mention I want to read it in its original language. My husband is perfectly bilingual. And, he lived in the United States for 25 years, and I'm so jealous because he can read English or Spanish. Like, he can pick up a book if it's in English and read it and enjoy it and understand it and not suffer or struggle. again, on either language. I want to be able to do that too. So I want to be a good literary citizen. I want to be able to participate in literary activities here. But most importantly, I want to read in Spanish and enjoy the literature and enjoy the experience. I can read, but again, it's a struggle, and I wouldn't pick up a Spanish novel and assume that I was going to just understand it and be able to just, really get the nuances, etc. I made another video before about how, I'm going to try to read in Spanish. That's my goal. Girl, I haven't done anything about that. So here's the Delulu part. I decided that the only way I am going to really force myself to get my Spanish up to the level where I can participate in literary culture here in Spain is if I have some sort of deadline, goal, like markable metric to do it. So I signed up for that C1 test. Yes, I signed up for the test that doctors and lawyers have to take to practice. And it's in 2 months. So it's a serious thing, and it's expensive. So I literally put my money where my mouth was. I was like, no more, what is it? Shit or get off the pot. Like, no more talking about it. You got to be about it. You got to do it. So I signed up for the exam about a month and a half ago and then promptly forgot about it. So recently I said, let me just look online and see what I should be doing to prepare for this exam. Well, apparently I should have been studying a year ago. Like people say 9 months to a year. That's what you need to prepare for this very difficult test. Then I was like, I'm in trouble, Shaggy. And so then I looked for people who were like the videos where it's like, I studied for the test quickly, steal my methods. Well, those people are like, you can do it in 3 months. Well, honey, I don't have 3 months. I have like 2 months and a week, but I'm going to do it. That's the Delulu part. I am convinced that I am going to take the test and pass the test. Yesterday, I went to the store and I got a workbook, and I'm reading this really amazing academic book about Juan Ladino, who is the first Black professor in Spain in the 1500s. He was a professor of Latin. He was born a slave. He was not born a slave. He was enslaved here in Spain and was the slave of not a royal family, but a well-to-do family who was educated alongside the young son of that family and ended up being more educated than the son and ended up going to university and then being, allergies, and then ended up being a professor at the University of Granada. Fascinating story. So all that to say, I'm reading, I am doing my workbook, and I am just going to go and try to pass this test. And I'm putting it in this video because I want some accountability and I want documentation that I am really scared and really nervous and thinking I'm not going to pass. But I have to. I'm going to. And I asked my husband, who has a doctorate in Spanish linguistics, who specializes in teaching English language learners Spanish. I was like, do you think I can pass this test? And he said, absolutely. He said, you have all the knowledge. It's just rusty, stuck in your brain. So you would just have to extract it. So I'm going to trust him. I hope he's not just gassing me up. He does not usually do that. That's not our relationship. But I'm going to trust him and say, I can do this, that the knowledge is there. It is there. I just haven't been using it. So, ladies and gentlemen, literarians, if you have any suggestions of how I can make sure I pass the test, and again, I'm going for passing. I'm not going for excellence, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm not that Delulu. I want to just pass. And I think I'm going for like a 75%. I don't know what passing is. I think it might be 70 or 65. I want 75% is what I'm going for. So if you have suggestions, if you have you can do it, go ahead and put those in the comments. I will update you all as we get closer to test date. But I wanted to, again, put it out here just in case anybody else is doing something Delulu and wants to be in camaraderie with me. Or again, if you have suggestions or you just want to say, good luck, Lori, I believe in you. So thank you for listening to Delulu Diaries episode 1. I, again, will keep you posted. And again, this is all part of my desire to be a good literary citizen in my new adopted country of Spain. Thank you for listening. I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.